Magandang buhay sa ating lahat. So, the first topic that we're going to discuss is all about the tools for assessment. And as we all know, assessment is the first phase or the first step in your family nursing care process, wherein the community health nurse or the public health nurse obtains data or information about the family, and it is the basis or it serves as the baseline data which you will soon utilize in order to come up or in order for you to formulate the planning, the implementation, and evolution phases. So you will not just jump to the implementation or the planning or the evaluation phase right away. You need the assessment phase in order for you to obtain the baseline data, because it is basically a family nursing care process. It is a process, and later on you will consolidate all those data, and you will craft your family nursing care plan, which is the heart of your family case study. Now, there are several tools that the community health nurse or the public health nurse utilizes, and one of which is the initial database or the assessment database. And it comprises with several aspects about the family, like you will obtain the family structure, which is or which has been discussed during your week 7. This talks about the type of the structure of the family, like your nuclear, the extended, and the single parent, and so on and so forth. We have also the family characteristics and dynamics, kung ano ang type of characteristics meron sila, and also the family dynamics. And this also includes the socioeconomic and cultural characteristics, which talks about the income, the educational attainment, and kung ano yung highest educational attainment ng household member na yon, for each of the household members, and kung magkano ang kanilang income. And also, when we talk about cultural characteristics, we are tackling about the ethnicity and the religious affiliation of each of the household members. And we go to home environment. Kapag sinabi nating home and environment, we are talking about the observable characteristics, or kung ano man ang na-observe natin na mga factors that affects the health status of the family with regards to your environment, kung malinis ba ang kanilang pag-dispose ng garbage, like are they practicing garbage disposal or garbage segregation properly, and of course kung ano yung home structure nila or housing structure, like do they have sturdy or makeshift home structure or housing structures, like mga makeshift yan, mga squatter, and sturdy, like yung mga made up of concrete or mga wood materials na sturdy naman or makitibay. And next is the health status of each family member. So you have to ask kung ano yung mga current and past illness or diseases na naranasan nila or inundergo nila. And lastly, you have the values and practices on health promotion, maintenance, and disease prevention. So this talks about the norms, kung ano yung mga kinagawian nilang mga ginagawa tuwing may nagkakasakit, or anong mga ginagawa nila in order to prevent a certain disease from occurring, or para ma-prevent na mag-spread yung certain disease na yan, for example. So these are the factors that or aspects under the initial database or assessment database. Now, under the family structure or characteristics and dynamics, ito yung ginagamit nating form for you to assess or uh, ito yung mga tinatanong natin sa ating family. And it includes about asking about kung sino ang head of the family or kung sino ang namumuno sa buong pamilya. Like, usually, yung mga Filipino family sa atin, ang usually na nagde-decide for the whole family is your father. So, I have placed here an example of a household. Like, head of the household is si Pedro. And then you have to acquire the barangay, the exact barangay address. You have to place the purok and the barangay address. Like I place here this one. Example lang naman yan. And then after which you have to place here in the first column the name of the household or the head of the household of the family, which is si Pedro. I place here on top of the table and then the position kung ano siya. Of course, he is the household head if siya man ang karaniwang namumuno sa buong pamilya. And then age, kung ilang taon na siya, the sex, kung ano yung kasarian niya, either male or female. Civil status is either married or single. Pag single siya, pag hindi sila, pag wala siyang asawa, of course, legally single siya. If legally married or legally nakinasal is married. And if may living in partner siya, as we all know, is yung civil status na ilalagay natin dito is common law spouse. Now we go to the ethnicity or the ethnic background. These are yung mga types of lahi, like your Bago tribe, your Kangkanay, your Itnog, your Ibaloy, and so on and so forth. So I have placed here as an example yung Kangkanay. Kunwari si Pedro ay member of the Kangkanay. The religion or the sect na kinabibilangan nila. So I have placed here RC as an example lang naman. So Roman Catholic. Education kung anong specific na highest educational attainment ng specific member na to. So I have placed here, kunwari college graduate siya. He is a BSN RN. And then the current occupation or trabaho ng head of the household, which is a district engineer, for example, and i-gather ninyo ang data for the past 6 months. So ulitin ko, yung occupation niya and all of those necessary data na kailangan natin ay kailangan mag-base tayo for the past 6 months. And then after acquiring the name of the head of the household and all of those essential information about the head of the household, we gather the other household members, yung kung sino yung kasama niya sa loob ng bahay na yun. So for example, si Petrang Caballo is sawa ni Pedro Di Magiva. So basically, you have to acquire the name of the household or who is the household head because you have to, you will base your household members or other household members according to the relationship to the household head. For example, Petrang Caballo is the legal wife. So he is or she is the wife of the household head. So ang nilagay ko dito sa position, under position is wife. And then age, 74, kasarian or sex is female. Civil status is, of course, married. And then, kunwari lang, the ethnic background is Ibaloy. So, the religion is basically Roman Catholic. And kapag undergraduate man siya, or elementary undergraduate, ilagay niyo siya specific kung ano yung natapos niya. Kung elementary undergraduate man yan, in-specify ko dyan, open and close parenthesis, I have placed here, grade 5, kasi yun yung natapos niya. And then, current occupation, the Petrang Caballo is a contractor. So, the biological son, you go to the next household member, the biological son of Pedro and Petran, who is Wangbu, aged 19 years old, a male. And of course, meron siyang kasama sa bahay, like they are living and together, Wangbu and Tinago. So si Wangbu, I have placed here in civil status common law husband kasi nga siya yung parang live-in ni Tinago. Wangbu is the biological um, son of the couple. And then, yeah, common law husband, ethnic background, like kapag wala siyang ethnicity, lalagay niyo dyan none. Religion, place ko silang lahat as RC, which is, example lang naman yung, yung sa portion na to. So, education, high school graduate. And then, occupation is construction worker. And then, yung kasama niya, ka-live-in, si Tinago. So, ang position niya is basically wala siyang relationship sa head of the household, which is, or who is Pedro Di Magiba. So, I have placed here sons in common law or sons in common law spouse. So, age is 19, female. So, of course, pag lalaki yan, pag son yan, common law husband. Pag wife yan, pag babae, is common law wife. So, they are basically common law spouse. Or they are living in together. So, sa ethnicity, wala din siyang ethnic background or ethnic affiliation. Religious affiliation, Roman Catholic, education, currently attending school or nag-aaral siya ng college. So, mapapansin ninyo na yung specific ko dito kung anong course siya. And then sa occupation, of course, none, wala siyang trabaho kasi she is a um, student pa lang. So, in specific ko dito kung anong year na siya, which is your first year student. So, dapat in-specify natin lahat ng pinaglalagay natin dito sa table na to. So, as much as possible, do not leave a blank space dito sa mga demographic data na ito. Kasi it's very essential or it's essential for partner agencies or other na pwede nating pag-referan in the future. So, dito sa type of family, we have different kinds of klase ng pamilya. So in this case, sa example natin, we go with extended family kasi nga meron siyang kasamang ibang tao, which is Tinago kasi nga siya ay living with Wangbu. And of course, yung namumuno ng pamilya, usually ang father ang nagde-decide or siya ang authority sa pamilya na to. Siya ang karaniwang nagde-decide para sa family na to. So therefore, patriarchal siya. So you should check lang naman kung ano yung appropriate dito. Pag wala naman, kapag not applicable, you should put NA. Do not put a blank here sa table na to when you do your case study. Now you go to the socioeconomic and cultural characteristics. Ito naman yung mga pinag-usapan natin dito, mga socio-economic. When you say economic, mga kaperahan yan. So we have the type of occupation or uri ng hanap buhay, either blue collar or white collar. Usually mga white collar jobs nasa office yan, nasa loob lang ng office, nasa loob ng company, nasa loob ng opisina. While the opposite is the blue collar job, which talks about the any job na nasa outside the office, like your construction worker for this family case. And then we have to specify what are or what is the status of employment of each of the family members. So, ito, meron tayong type of or types of status of employment. We have regular, usually mga matatagal na sa employee sa company. And then self-employed, yung mga nag-own ng mga businesses wherein sila yung mga boss. And then contractual employees, sila yung mga usually may mga time frame like mga 6 months or 1 month. And then we have to specify also the place of occupation saan sila nagtatrabaho, the monthly income, magkano yung income nila sa isang buwan. And if it's yung family member ay Parang seasonal siya, on and off yung kanyang trabaho. Like for example, nagsasahod siya on the basis of um, per day basis yung kanilang salary. So you have to compute. For example, sa construction worker case na ito, magkano ba yung usual or magkano ba yung actual na kinikita ng isang construction worker? For instance, 400 pesos per day. Tapos nag-work siya ng 5 days from Monday to Friday. And then the following week wala siyang work kasi nga on and off or parang seasonal lang siya. So ibig sabihin niyan, iko-compute mo lang is yung nasahod niya in actual sa isang buwan. So you have to do the math. You have to do the multiplication. For example, 5 times lang siya nagtrabaho sa 5 na araw lang siyang nagtrabaho sa isang buwan. So 5 times 400. So that is the kita ng nagtatrabaho as construction worker. And then you have to sum it all up, lahat ng income ng family, from the district engineer hanggang sa may construction worker. And yun yung pinaka-gross income ng family sa isang buwan. Now, sa everyday expenses, yun yung mga gastusin sa isang araw. Like, kung bumibili sila ng magkanong ulam or mga lahat-lahat na may binibili nila sa isang araw. Like, yung uh, yung ulam nila, yung kung meron mang nagme-medicate sa family nila, or magkano yung pinambili nila ng bigas. And this also includes yung mga vices, no? Yung mga bisyo nila sa araw-araw. So that includes this in your expenses o yung mga kung bumibili man sila ng damit araw-araw, yun yung ibang minus or sa subtract niyo dito sa araw-araw na kita din ng per household or doon sa kita ng family. So itong everyday expenses nila mag-fall yan sa net income ng family. So yan, you do the math na lang. So per araw ito naman per buwan. So next is the who decides or sino sa kanila ang nagdidesisyon or humahawak ng pera and saan ito na-spend or saan ito na-spend. So usually man noon sa Filipino family, yung mga mother ang nagde-decide at humahawak ng pera. So kapag mas malaki ang kita ni father, binibigyan niya kay mother ang kanyang pera or income. So hindi naman lahat pare-parehas na all families are unique. So you should ask, it is imperative for you to ask kung sino ang nagde-decide about the utilization of your money or the family income. Now, the next one is the adequacy to meet basic necessities. Kung nabibigay ba ang lahat ng pangangailangan ng each of the household members, like sa pagkain ba, lahat ba ay on average, lahat ba ay nabibigay? So mag-check lang kayo dito if yes or kapag no. Sa damit naman, nabibili ba ang kanilang mga pangangailangan, necessities, mga kailangang damit? It talks about the need and not the want or not the wants. So, pag unnecessary naman, siguro, i-specify nyo na lang na yun ay hindi naman nila kailangan pero binibili nila. Pero pagdating sa mga basic necessities kasi, syempre, ina-ask natin yung family if ito ba ay talagang kailangan nila or not. Or talagang nakita lang nila sa social media like your TikTok tapos nakursunodan nila, binibili nila, hindi naman nila kailangan. Like, just mga factors na yan. And then we go to the tirahan, yung housing nila. So, meron ba silang pangangailangan sa tirahan na kailangang i-address? Like, tumutulo yung faucet. Yun ay kailangang kailangang i-address so that may kailangan bang ayusin dito sa tinitiran nila. We go to home and environment. So for this aspect, you will ask your client or family if ano yung type. of house ownership. Pag ang mamayari ba nila ang bahay or something that is rented or walang bayad or nakikitira sila sa magulang or pagmamayari nila. And then letter B sa housing aspect is the type of house or uri ng tahanan. Is it made up of concrete materials mixed of concrete or light or makeshift? Meron yan mga klase ng tahanan. So pwede yan maghalo yung concrete, yung makeshift and your lights or light and makeshift or pwedeng maghalo yan yung concrete at saka light. So kapag ganun yung estado ng kanilang tahanan, you will check the mixed or hollow. Or pag pure na concrete naman is you will check the concrete one. And kapag nakikita niyo talagang ano naman siya, talagang matibay naman siya, ay specify na lang siya sa may gilid na made up of sturdy materials or mga matitibay na mga housing structure. Now for letter C, the power source, kung saan sila kumukuha ng kanilang kuryente or pagdating naman sa electrification, sila ba ay may sariling kontador? May kuryente ba sila? May or nakikiconnect ba sila sa ibang bahay? Or wala ba silang kuryente? So this is true naman na I personally witnessed some of the household na wala talagang kuryente. And yun, nagtataka din ako kung bakit paano sila makakatiis na walang current sa kanilang bahay or electric current sa kanilang bahay. And they usually utilize the kerosene or yung parang lampara just to lighten or to um, give light to that specific household. And of course, meron din yung mga tinatawag natin mga nakiki-connecta lang sa ibang bahay ng kuryente. And kapag ganun yung yung situation, you should place it here sa may others or iba specify the status of the power source of that specific household. Now we go to the food storage and cooking facilities. So either gumagamit ba sila ng refrigerator or meron ba silang refrigerator, kung functioning ba ito, not just refrigerator na hindi nakasaksak or kung functioning ba siya, kung gumagamit ba sila ng ice box or cooler. Ito yung parang box na ginagamit ng mga certain individuals or families. Tapos bumibili sila ng ice na lang in order to cool the box na ito, and then dito nilalagay ang kanilang mga perishable goods. And then kapag meron silang ginagamit na other methods, you should specify uh in this on this portion. So yung cooking facility, dapat tinatanong din natin like gumagamit sila or nag-utilize sila ng gas stove, ng electric stove, either nag ano ba sila ng panggatong or gumagamit sila ng ano bang klaseng equipment na naglulutuan nila. And then with cleaning facility, kung ano ba ang meron silang panghugas, like is faucet available with running water and sink. Usually, kakibot dito ang yung motor, yung water pump, and then yung water tank. Pag wala naman ganyan, of course, yung paggamit nila ng pail, yung balde, with water and open pit. Open pit yung parang open lang siya tapos either accumulate pag umuulan nag-accumulate yung tubig doon, dito sila kumukuha sa may pit na yan or sa may hukay na yan. And then the pail or the uh, pail with water and sink, may sink na siya pero gumagamit sila ng pail ng balde and then with water. Yan, nag-iipon sila ng tubig through the pail. And then water source. Ito pala pag pag ito mga households na nag-iigib sa iisang water source or nasa common silang water source. Dito siya nag-iigib, dito na iniipon sa mga balde-balde. At ito yung ginagamit nilang pang-clean or panghugas sa kanilang sarili. And then we have also the water source or the water supply. Saan sila kumukuha ng tubig? Is it pagmamay-ari ba nila or is it their own water supply or baka naman pampubliko siya or common doon sa kanilang community like this one. Sa Maynila, very common yan na isa yung pinag-iigiban nila at doon nila inipon ang kanilang mga water sources. Now we go to the home and environment. We tackle about the presence of breeding or resting sites of vector disease. When we talk about vectors, ito yung mga animals or mga insects na nagkikarry ng certain kinds of disease like your malaria and your dengue fever. So meron bang obvious na resting or breeding sites for this type of vectors? So i-check nyo lang yan if meron. Check naman kung wala, yung no. So which of the following are present in your house? Marami bang lamok na kumakagat sa mga household members of specific family and flies, maraming mga langaw like mga may mga cockroaches ba, may mga ipis, mga rodents, may mga daga. And then presence of accident hazards, meron ka bang nakikitang or you as the healthcare provider or the nurse or the future nurse can observe ba mga broken stairs or may mga nakakalat ba dyan na pwedeng mag-fall under this kind of hazards, the fall hazard, the fire hazard, poisons, mga for example, mga muriatic acid na nakakalat lang dyan, mga type of chemicals na nakakalat lang na pwedeng ma-access ng mga bata, tapos pwede nilang mainom or ma-ingest. So, may mga ganun bang mga observable um, physical hazards na pwede nating madatnan sa tahanan na yon. And improperly kept medicines, nakakalat lang doon ng mga gamot. And then toilet facility, we have level 1, level 2, and level 3. So we have pit latrines, reed odorless earth closet, pour flush toilet, and aqua privy. So itong mga pit latrines na to, of course, yung pag sinabi natin pit, yung mga hinuhukay lang siya na huhulugan or pinag-istoran ng waste. And then we have reed odorless earth closet. Ito yung parang uh, ano siya, container. And then para siyang pit din, pero may ventilation naman. And then we have the flush type water or sealed toilet with septic tank. Ito yung mga usual na nakikita natin sa public. So we have level 2, naka-flush through water and then napupunta yung waste sa septic tank. And finally, we have level 3, the flush type water sealed toilet na may sewage system or napupunta siya sa treatment plant. So without a toilet, this is specified method of excreta disposal. Pwede yan siguro sa mga open fields, ano sila, dispose sila ng waste sa gitna ng field, mga ganun. So, or sa may bodies of water. So, possible yung mga yan. And distance from the house. So, kung meron akong flush type water sealed toilet with septic tank, ilan yung distance niya from the actual house or the source of water. So, dito natin malalaman. I-estimate natin kung ilang meters yung kanilang palikuran sa kanilang source of water. And then general description of excreta disposal. Pwede ba siyang may consider ba siya as sanitary or unsanitary. And here we have the garbage or the garbage disposal, kung paano sila nagtatapon ng mga basura. Like, are they practicing garbage disposal, segregation? Nag-segregate po sila ng mga nabubulok, di nabubulok, at saka bote, lata, etc. Or baka naman sinusunog nila ng mga garbages. So those are examples of your garbage disposal methods. So next one, we have the health status of each of the household members. So tatanungin natin dito sa portion na to kung ano yung mga past and present illnesses. Like, ilagay niyo dito kung mga names or name of the family member na may past illness, na major illness, and then yung age, the disease itself, kung anong klaseng diagnosis ang na ano sa kanya, and then medical attendant, kung sino yung kaniyang sino ang healthcare provider na nag-provide ng intervention or nag-assess sa kanya, and then medications and treatments na natanggap. And also, we acquire the present illness or mga kasalukuyang sakit ng specific household member na yun. Like, you will place it here also, the age, the disease, the specific disease, the medical attendant, and the medications and treatments. Like, for example, kung ano yung mga first aid meds na natanggap niya or mga emergency medications na natanggap ng specific household member niya. So we go to the values and practices on health promotion, maintenance, and disease prevention. So dito sa portion na to, nilalagay natin kung sila ba ay health conscious or gaano pa sila ka health conscious. So for example, yung mga kung mayroon silang kasambahay or kasama sa bahay na under 5 years old, kompleto ba niya ang kanilang or kanyang mga vaccines? Yan. So, ilalagay niyo dito yung the name of the family member, the age, at kung anong-anong vaccines ang naibigay sa kanya. And remarks if completed na ba siya or pang ilang months or pang ilang doses na ba ang specific vaccine na yun. So, yun yung ilalagay natin sa remarks. So, vaccines of choices, remarks, choices, either the Bacillus calmette-guerin, the diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, the oral polio vaccine. Yan, ilalagay natin dyan lahat sa vaccine part, and then kung pang ilang dose or kung naibigay na ba or meron bang naging problema doon sa pagbibigay ng vaccines or meron bang certain reactions na nangyari during the administration of their vaccines. No medical care, pwede yan, consultation, nagpapa-check up ba sila even without illness or pupunta lang sila kapag may these signs of or meron ng signs and symptoms ng specific na sakit na yun. And then medical care, so ito mga facility use if meron bang available na health center doon sa community at kung ilang oras ang paglalakad nila or kailangan nilang i-travel. Or meron bang hospital? Anong level ng hospital na yan? Either level 1, level 2, or level 3. Clinics, what particular or specific clinic is that clinic? Private physicians, kung meron silang kamag-anak or kakilala, or kung meron man silang napaugalian ng pinagpapacheck-upan talaga na specific na physician or doctor. And kung albularyo ba sila, napapacheck up or napapatingin ng mga diseases, faith healer, or mga baka naman mahilig sila sa mga hilot-hilot lang and hindi sila nagpapa-check up or hindi sila nagbi-visit ng mga facilities or medical facilities. We have also kung sino bang tumitingin, specify natin dito kung meron ba silang available na medical doctors or physicians, the midwives, the dentist, the faith healer, albularyo, ilot, or meron ba silang public health nurses doon sa community, or sinong specific na health practitioner ang pinagpatinginan nila for the past 6 months. And then, how far is it from your house? Yan, sinasabi ko kanina, paglalakarin mo or magta-travel ka through motor man yan, tricycle, or bus, so you have to specify how many kilometers you estimate, and then you specify kung anong klaseng transportation ang na-utilize dito sa part na to. And then we have also nutritional assessment, like is it boiled water ang inaano natin, ang binibigay natin sa mga infants, or pure breastfeeding ba yan? Yun, nilalagay natin sa nutritional assessment. So these are the different examples, or these are the examples of your values practices on health promotion, maintenance, and disease prevention. So next one, we have the second tool, which is the family health task. So dito in-identify natin yung mga responsibilities and actions that the family must perform to maintain health, prevent illness, and manage health problems. So the first task is providing its members with means of health promotion and disease prevention. So ito yung ginagamit natin to assess kung ano yung mga ginagawa nilang mga responsibilities or actions, ano mga behavior ng family na yon. The health prevention, or managing health problems, the current health problems, and promoting wellness within that specific family unit. Now, next one, we have the family coping index. This is actually an alternative family nursing diagnosis that we can utilize in our FNCP. So this is based on the premise that the nursing action. So ang nursing intervention daw ay pwedeng makatulong doon sa family na yun, sa specific family na yun, in providing for a health need or resolving a health problem by promoting the family's coping capacity. So it talks about the coping capacity, the behavior, or how they cope up with a certain disease, and not the underlying cause of that certain disease. So we go to your family data analysis. So yung pag sinabi nating data analysis, this comparison between the normals and abnormals, and ano ba yung mga accepted na mga standards for specific individual or family members, or kung family unit man yan as a whole, yung ginawa niyo ng FNCP, pwede yan. So pwede kasi pag FNCP ginagawa natin dyan, individual, family, or in relation to their environment. So meron tong mga different categories and checks na nag-check ng mga gaps, or mga information na kailangan nating alamin, and then we compare it with the normals, or the mga standards, or mga accepted na mga values doon sa community na yun. So that is how you make the data analysis. Like, we are utilizing different tools for your analysis. Now, part of which is the genogram. No? So pag sinabi ng genogram, this is a visual map of family's relationship and health patterns across at least 3 generations. So parang gagawin mo siya, yung 3 generations na yan, yung mga first degree, second degree, up to the third degree of consanguinity. For example, yung mga lolo sa mga tuhod, and then lolo, and then sa parents, and then ikaw, parang ganun. And then you create a visual map out of it. And part of the genogram is the family health tree, wherein you will craft a visual, or an illustration, parang tree siya, wherein you create the health history of your family. Kung kunwari si lolo mo, meron siyang history of hypertension. Si yung grandmother mo, meron siyang history of diabetes. So you can place it doon sa family health tree, sa diagram ng family health tree, na literal na health na tree siya. And then you identify the potential genetics. Usually, genetically hindi papasa yung mga sakit na yan, or maybe Pwede yan, environmental factors within the family. Then lastly, you have the EcoMap. So EcoMap natin, this is a tool that is used by the community health nurses to map the family's connections. Pag sinabi pa yung EcoMap, lahat ng connection sa environment, lahat ng mga resources na yan, either internal or external resources. Like, meron bang available na barangay health stations, rural health units doon sa bahay, or kung ilang oras, matagal ba silang naglalakad, or kailangan ba nilang maglakad ng 6 hours just to reach the nearest barangay station or the rural health unit or the hospital? And how do they interact with this? Paano yung connection nila doon sa specific na facility na yun? Like, ina-utilize ba nila yung facility na yun, kahit kapitbahay nila yung barangay station na yun, for instance. Ang tanong is, na-utilize ba nila? Anong connection nila doon sa barangay station na yun? So, yun, ang ginagamit natin uh, doon sa ating data analysis. So, we go first with your family tree, health tree. So, this is an example of your family health tree wherein dito nilalagay yung mga 3 generations na binanggit natin kanina. We have the grandmother, the grandfather, yeah. The birth, yung mga diseases, mga past illnesses nila, uh, ayan, mga klase ng mga in-undergo o na-undergo nilang diseases. Of course, side by side yan, sa male, tsaka sa female, o sa husband and wife, ginagawa niyan ng family tree. And yan, kanununuan, uncle, aunt, father, uncle, so we can place it there sa inyong mga family trees. And also, we can include your children. The next one is the genogram. This is where you will utilize, um, ayan, pwede kang mag-place ng mga faces, or you can just use the legends, mga colors, to emphasize kung ano yung, or sino, kung male ba yan or female, or kung sino ba siya doon sa family niyo, or kung anong bang mga ethnicity nila, ano bang mga lahi nila, ano bang mga cultural characteristics nila. So you can use those legends to represent your family genogram as it was represented here ito sa ating example. Like gumamit siya ng mga faces. And then the last one, you have the eco-map. Sabi natin kanina, this is in connection with the environment, but particularly mga facilities, like mga available resources internally or external resources doon sa community. Like, nilalagay natin dito kung anong mga connections nila. Pag mga legend naman ang ginagamit, usually mga pag straight line, close connection. And then kapag broken line, weak connection. Pag red, stressful connection. Ibig sabihin, hindi nila na-utilize mabuti, or hindi good ang kanilang relationship with that specific uh, internal or external resources. Or very weak siya. Hindi sila magka-connect at all. Next one, we go to your family nursing diagnosis. The family nursing diagnosis where you'll craft your own diagnosis in accordance to your um, objective data, which is acquired during your assessment process. So sabi ko nga kanina, hindi kayo makakarating sa ibang mga phases kung wala kayong assessment. So this is a diagnosis, we craft them or we formulate them according to family, or pwede yan individually, or pwede yan sa in relation to the environment or community, or paano sila nakikihalubilo, or ano yung mga relasyon nila sa kanilang komunidad. Now we go to the family coping index. This is where you will utilize this type of tool in order for you to come up with a certain nursing diagnosis. The family coping index is used as an alternative tool for your nursing diagnosis. So kung mapapansin niyo dun sa mga previous slides natin, ano na siya, assessment, planning, pumunta ka na agad siya sa planning, implementation, and evaluation. Pero dito sa part ng diagnosis, ang ginagamit natin commonly is DINANDA for clinical setting. Pero dito sa family nursing care plan, ang ginagamit natin is the family coping index. Wherein the public health nurse is going to grade or rate the family's coping capacity. Parang it talks about how the family copes up with that certain kind of disease or illness or problems. Hindi yung specific na underlying disease itself. So it often graded from 1 to 5, where 1 indicates yung pinaka-lowest, no competence at all. And then 5, yung highest, it indicates complete competence in managing that aspect of family health. So inulit ko that yung rating natin dito sa family coping index from 1 to 5, 1 yung lowest indicates no competence and 5 the highest competence, and they talk about the family members that manages or manage incomplete competence the health problem. So these are the family coping index. But meron siyang general considerations. So we have the number 1, coping capacity. Sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, is not rated, not the underlying problem is rated. So ang coping capacity nila in accordance to the family's view kung paano sila cope up with a certain problem or certain disease or illness na nasa family na yan. So it's not the underlying problem. So ibang assessment ang ginagawa natin patungkol dito. Then we have the family. The family is rated and not the individual. So the totality of the family itself is rated and not individually. And then rating is done after 2 to 3 home visits. Kasi usually pag tapos ng 2 to 3 home visits, dito na na-establish ang completely na nagtitiwala na sa atin or not. If not is parang partially na nagtitiwala na sa atin yung household na yon. And then we have to justify on the observable facts para din siyang sa prioritization of your nursing problems. Meron siyang portion na kailangan yung i-justify bakit ganun yung rating ninyo. Just a short justification or the brief justification on why. Bakit ganun yung rating ninyo from 1 to 5? Bakit ganun yung rating ninyo dun sa coping capacity ng family or certain family na yan? And then lastly, we have the terminal rating. The terminal rating is done at the given point of time. So you have to set or to plan kung kailan yung next na pagre-rate ninyo. So after two visits, you will plan. Then after ng pagre-rate na yan, na find out ninyo na mababa ang kanilang rating and then you conduct intervention. The next thing you're going to do is to conduct another home visit and then you will evaluate until there will be the last rating. Kung umimprove ba sila, you will observe if umimprove ba ang kanilang coping capacity. And they are rated according to, yan, number 1 indicates no competence. 1 ang i-rate ninyo or i-rate ninyo kapag wala silang pinakitang competence for that specific aspect. And 3 for moderate competence. Nagko-cope naman sila pero meron silang some kind of difficulty coping up, like financial problem, siguro mga ganun, or family problem that impedes or restricts them from doing that certain compliance, like coping up or nag-impede sa kanilang coping mechanism. And then 5 is rated for those families or family members na nag-indicate na complete competence. or able to handle the aspect of care independently na walang alinlangan or kahit sila lang ang nag-act ay kayang-kaya nila without help. Now, there are 9 aspects or areas of assessment for this for family coping index. So these are the 9 areas of assessment. So ganito natin siya nire-rate. So we have 9 areas as mentioned. So physical independence, kung nagagawa ba nila ang kanilang activities of daily living. Like for example, nag-ano ba sila ng kanilang higaan, nag-aayos ba sila tuwing sila ay bumabangon, or naliligo ba sila every day, naghuhugas ng kamay, nagpa-practice ng proper hygiene, yan, sanitation, all of those fall under the physical independence. The therapeutic competence is wherein you will see how the family or each of the family members act therapeutically, 'di ba? Kung may sakit yung isang bata doon sa specific na household na yun, papaano ba sila gumagalaw? Ano bang course of action na ginagawa nila? Like, alam ba nila or nagbibigay ba sila ng mga gamot patungkol dito? And alam ba nila ang mga first aid, mga therapeutic intervention na nagfo-fall? Lahat dito ay nilagyan natin ng rating dito sa aspect na 'to. And then knowledge of health condition, kung alam ba nila kung ano yung mga ah, may alam ba sila tungkol sa mga certain diseases or how to prevent or how to acquire yung mga certain diseases na to, yung mga extent of knowledge nila. Kung ito yung mga skill, itong therapeutic competence, ito naman yung knowledge. And ito naman, the application of general hygiene principle, ina-apply ba nila ng mabuti or merong pagkukulang? Like, naghuhugas nga na sila ng kamay pero ano lang, ah, ano lang nila, tina-touch na yung sabon and then naghuhugas na, hindi sila nag-undergo ng proper hygiene kasi wala silang knowledge para pwedeng gano'n. So, pwedeng mag-fall yan sa application of general hygiene principles. So we go to health attitudes. Paano sila tumutugon sa kanilang kalusugan? Like kung meron ba silang miyembro ng family na may sakit, meron ba silang perception or meron ba silang attitude na kailangan itong ipagamot kasi baka lumala, or baka naman the other way around, like ubo at saka sipon lang yan, hindi natin kailangang ipa-admit or ipatingin sa doktor or whatsoever, ipatingin sa professional, sa medical professional. So those are kinds of or different kinds of health attitudes. And we have the emotional competence, like doon sa developmental stage ay umaakma ba ang kanilang behavior. Baka naman madali lang silang magkaroon ng anxiety sa mga bagay-bagay, like konting problema, nag-anxiety and whatsoever. And then we have the family living patterns. So paano ba sila nabubuhay? Paano nabubuhay ang family na yan? Kung yung relationship pa nila ay matibay ba, or baka may mga nag-aaway doon sa loob ng family na yon, or something ba na kailangang i-address, like family relationships na impending na magbo-broke up or masisira. We have the physical environment here also, kung saan dinidescribe niyo yung overall status ng surroundings, like yun nga, yung mga the way the household disposes the garbage, for example, or the sanitary toilet, kung pagmamay-ari ba nila, or anong klaseng sanitary toilet ang meron sila, or sanitary ba or not. And lastly, we have the use of community facilities, wherein how or is the family utilizes or make use of available internal resources or health resources in the community. Like for example, kung meron mang barangay health station dyan, kahit kapitbahay nila, kahit 3 seconds, maglakad ka from your bahay hanggang dun sa may BHS or the rural health unit, nakarating ka na dun. Ang question doon, Ginagamit nila or nagpapa-check up ba sila doon sa certain facility na yun. So you will rate them according to the use of community facilities on o kung ano man ang available na community facilities na yun. So after that, after rating from 1 to 5, there's 9 areas of assessment. So we have to justify briefly kung bakit ganun yung score. For example, 3 to bakit ganun? Bakit 2? Bakit 1? Bakit 5? So you have to make or place a brief justification here sa portion na to. And then health teachings, what are your interventions? Specifically, the health teachings na ginawa niyo with regards to, for example, one yan, pag physical independence yan. Ano ba mga health teachings na in specific na ginawa mo for that specific areas of assessment? So this is all to be continued.